wanted them to be, but the fact that they pushed through it, it's the only way you can simulate adversity. When you get tired and you have to deal with the heat elements, things like that, you got to find a way to push through. I can guarantee you everybody in the country is hot. So we just got to find a way. You got to be smart about it, but it was a good day one for us.
So, over this offseason, where do you see kind of maybe the collective strides of the group as they, Coach Joe's putting them through the conditioning program, strength program, and how do you think the room's coming together?
It's coming together. I'm still trying to figure out who these guys are. With me being here only like 3 months, it's hard to really judge and find the characters or what the wide receiver room is made of. But one had to establish the trust and understanding. I think we built that. I talk to these guys each and every day. They call me Unc. They're like my nephews. I got nothing but love for them. So they bought into everything that I've been teaching them, coaching them, and you can see it today. I really like what we did on one-on-ones and things like that. Collectively, when we got into the team, I think we had some mental breakdowns, but I think that was just because it's day one and they were fatigued. So still, it's not up to my standards. We got a long ways to go, but it was a good day one. Good day one for overall.
How are they coming?
What's it been like to dive into this generation?
It's been fun, man. It's been a blessing. Like I said, man, the good Lord created this opportunity for me to give back and help. Not only coach good football players, but coach good men. So like I say, I look at it. My role is like being a bunch of. I got a bunch of nephews who really want to learn the game of football. So it's not just about, I don't just coach football, I coach life. And, I think if you take it from that aspect, then the guys really buy into what you're selling. And I told them I'm going to be hard on them more than anybody because I played the position. So you can't tell me the excuses. I'm not, I got very high standards, and I'm not lowering my standards for anyone. So. But I got to push these guys. These guys came out. They've done everything that I asked them to do, and we're going to continue to grow and get better, 1% better each and every day.
You play for two tough coaches.
Yes.
Are you that tough coach now?
No question. It's in my DNA. I don't take a lot of bull junk from players. I don't take excuses. My job is to coach my butt off to get the most out of our players. And at the end of the day, you respect that because all players want to be coached. I don't care what level you are. The good ones, if you want to try to go to where these kids are trying to go, then you got to coach hard. I coach my butt off. I coach hard, but I love hard. I make sure that when they do something good, I praise them. When they do something bad, I try to correct the problem so it doesn't happen again.
What have you seen out of Troy? He's a guy who has great size and speed. After a tough catch today, Kenny ran over to him and said, "You're unguardable. You're unguardable. You're 6'4".
That's the mindset. With Troy, he just has to play big. One, he's not in shape right now. I do know that, but he has some injuries and stuff. But this is him establishing that trust. It's a good and bad time when you want to push through it. You got to be smart. I don't want him to push through it where he no longer can give us anything. But at the same time, I got to push him because I got to make sure he gets in shape and get ready for the season. So we'll find ways to get him acclimated. To get his conditioning down, but his size down in the red zone, his catch radius, he's definitely an asset to us down in the red zone.
And it's a lot of work here at college, coach. Is it more than you thought, or is it?
No, listen, man, I know what I signed up for. I knew the sacrifices that I made. My wife was all on board. I told these guys all the time, you got to sacrifice in order to get to where we want to go. Each and every individual on this team got to sacrifice something. I sacrificed my time away from my wife and my daughter to be here. I spend more time with these guys than I do my own family. So they have to understand that. So they understand that, my sacrifice, I want the same in return. I want them to put that extra time in the playbook, as well as academics. I know a lot of these kids' parents, they want their sons to get their education. But at the end of the day, I know where these kids want to go. Every kid in here wants to play at the next level. So my job is to give them a good foundation so they can have the tools and skill set and technique. So if you're blessed enough to make it at the next level, you're already prepared and you develop and you're ready to go. If not, then just carry all the things that I've said and taught in the classroom and on the field, and it'll carry along with you in life. So I'm honored and glad to be here. I'm proud as hell to be the Arizona State wide receiver coach, and I'm going to coach my butt off.
You have to give this younger generation a history lesson a little bit. You pull up any of your old clips.
It's not about
like to go
me.
over the middle and block.
No. Listen, I know some of the characteristics that I want. For me, I did a thing with the players. I made them pick their own identity, and we all voted on it. And it wasn't my identity. It was something that now they have ownership in. Being reliable, competitive, and tough. Those were the three identities that they picked. I said, well, it's what you guys signed up for. So when you step on that football field, I need to see at least one of those characteristics that needs to be displayed each and every day, and I'm gonna hold them accountable to that. It wasn't my idea; it was their team, and they voted on it as a group. So ASU wide receivers, that's our identity. We're gonna be reliable. We're gonna be competitive as all get out, and we're gonna be mentally and physically tough. So that's what I need to see on tape each and every day.
They probably told you about the heat, but is it a little bit hotter than you expected?
Got to hydrate, right? That's something that Coach Kenny talks about each and every day. I try to make sure that we guzzle water down in the meeting room, then we guzzle another water down after practice. After our meetings, and then even when we're out here in the field, I try to be cognitive of really just making sure that our players are getting enough water. So you kind of got to be smart. You want to push them, but at the same time, you got to have a mindset to make sure nothing bad happens, because you do lose a lot of water and the sweat and things like that. But listen, everybody in the country is dealing with the heat. It's hot everywhere, all right? So we just got to do it better than everybody else is doing it. So hydrate. We're not going to let off on these plays. We still want to practice our butt off, but you just got to be smart about the hydration.
Thanks.
Okay.
Before Ben, you played for a number of quarterbacks. What's the key to developing chemistry, from the wide receiver perspective of that combination?
It's not just about the X's and O's, man. It's what these guys do when they leave the facility. Are they hanging out? I played on teams we probably weren't the most talented teams, but we were a very close-knitted team. We always hung out together. We went out to eat. We knew I was scared to fail my brother. I was scared to make a mistake for my brother. And that's what I'm trying to build, the culture in our room, especially the wide receiver room, understanding that when you block, you got to block like all get out for your brother. You have to understand that. So the culture that I'm trying to generate, which we're slowly doing, and I think that comes within time. But you got to have that chemistry. Chemistry is everything. Especially when it's fourth quarter, you need to make a play. You look at somebody, a lot of these guys know who their go-to guys are. I think Jordan and Sam are really trying to develop, that rapport with each other. We came down here and made a nice pitch and catch down in the red zone. They're starting to develop that, So I'm excited to see what those two do this season. I think they're going to have a big year, but all of our guys, just hanging out with each other and being able to play for each other. That's what it's all about. I tell guys, when you see that Sun Devil brotherhood in our big team meeting room, that stands for something.
What did you think of day one in terms of the wide receivers?
Not good on my level. My standards. I got very high standards. But I told them the one thing: you better be in shape. You got to be able to run. Little guys, some guys was cramping. You start to see kind of fall off at the end. It's all about being consistent. I don't want an up and down player. I don't want a player that looks good one day and looks bad the next day. We're just trying to build on training camp. I don't need them to be where I want them to be day one, but tomorrow we need to take a step forward and get 1% better. And so we just build on that each and every day. We'll be fine before Wyoming comes in town.
Was there anything that you were pleasantly kind of surprised about?
No, I got high standards. It's not good enough. But it's day one. It is what it is. I told them it's good. Now we got to do better tomorrow. Right? We're not trying to go backwards. We're trying to just keep building, stacking blocks, and just keep building day by day. When we do that, we'll be fine. We'll get to where we want to go. But it was surprisingly better than I thought, because coming in the spring they were out of shape. Today they gutted through it. They found a way to get it done. The attention to details wasn't up to par. So I think the fatigue got the most of some of the players, not all the players, but overall, like I said, I got very high standards. It wasn't good enough. We'll continue to work our butt off until we get it right.
How do you like the talent?
I like the talent. I think all the talent. The talent is not the problem. It's how do these kids know how to do hard? when things get rough, when adversity, we will have some adversity. Some players will go down. It's how they handle adversity. That's what I don't know. I don't know what the makeup of this team is. So I try to simulate adversity at practice and try to make it as hard as I possibly can, because it's the only way you can simulate game day. You know, I don't want to show up to Wyoming not knowing what our guys are capable of, you know, what character issues, you know what I'm saying, what they built, what they made of. So to be able to do that, I have to simulate, I have to push them through practice to see who's going to tap out, to see who's going to dig deep, to see who's going to stay mentally focused and get dialed in. I have to see all that. That's what training camp is all about. You're building the foundation that's needed throughout the season. We're doing it here. So it was a good day one, not up to my standards, but you know, at the end of the day, Rome wasn't built overnight. So you just got to continue to just get better one day at a time.
Sounds like that's what Coach Dillingham wants to do for the whole team, is just create more adversity.
Correct. And that's what, because you got to know, I think last year they were in a lot of ball games. I mean, they went toe to toe with Washington, was right there. Right? Washington ended up having a great year, but they was right there. But when a little adversity, turnovers happen, how do you respond? And then it's ebb and flow of the game, right? So I just think we have to learn how to deal with adversity, you know, because that's the talent. These kids, they can play at any school, you know. It's just a matter of the mindset that they have. And that's what Coach Kenny is really trying to implement. That's really what I'm all about. It's more of the mindset. My mindset was different than most dudes. You know, I was different, you know, but you know, I'm the one that's not about what I know, it's not about what I can do, it's what I can coach these kids to try to prepare them as much as I possibly can to get them ready and prepared, get ready for Wyoming.
Is there a certain level of excitement that comes with day one?
As always. I mean, everybody's itching for football. I didn't sleep at all. I actually woke up and came to the building about 4:30 this morning. Probably went to bed. I was probably one of the last guys to leave. I think I left the building about 10 last night, so I didn't get a lot of sleep. So the anxiety, the excitement, the nerves are coming back, because you know, I want the wide receiver group to do well. You know, I really do. More than anything, I take great pride because I want them to be a great representation of me as their coach. So they're starting to buy into it. I love what these kids out here doing. They're getting extra work at the end of the day, even after practice. That's all I'll say, man. You need to be doing some things when I'm not watching. When I leave this building, they need to continue to work and getting better. That's what I am trying to instill in them, the work ethic of what it is. And the guys are buying in, and I'm looking over there now. They're all getting their catches in, right? I say, if you want to be an elite pass catcher, you got to catch balls every day. Now, we did have 2 balls on the ground. I want flawless. You know, I get it. You're going to make mistakes, but I'm not lowering my standards for anyone. I know what it looks like. I've been there. I've been behind the helmet. So my job is just to coach my butt off and get them to the level that I think they can get to.
It was the same types of feelings you had on the end of training camp as a player?
Yeah, and still, that's the whole reason I'm back, man. You know, I miss being around, you know, I don't miss playing, but I miss being around the camaraderie of the guys, being a part of a team, being a part of an environment, you know. I love everything about Tempe. I love everything about Arizona State. I love the mindset and what Coach Kenny's really trying to build, the culture here. I want to be a part of that. So it makes my job, each and every day I come to work, I'm excited as hell to go out. You know, I'm always, seems like I really can't rest because my brain is always constantly moving. What can I do to give these kids a nugget that they can help them go out and have success on the football field? And that's what I look forward to doing each and every day.
And Coach, I know you said it wasn't maybe up to your center, but I asked Coach Dillingham. I know it's day one, but just thought of, you know, the work that the quarterbacks and receivers put in from after spring ball till now. Did you feel that they were on a pretty good page?
You can see it. I mean, those guys, when we was on break, those guys put a lot of time in themselves. You can see, you know, they came back from what I saw in the spring to what I'm seeing today. You can see the work that they put in, just the trust, to have that rapport with all the guys, to understand how each and every guy run their routes. You start to see some of that. You know, for me, like I said, too many drop balls, too many missed assignments, that comes with day one. It's going to have, but I'm not lowering my standards still. We got to get better. You know, I'm not going to accept being average. You know, that's not what I'm here to do. My job is to make sure that these players put good plays on tape each and every day. And when they do make a mistake, coach them hard so it doesn't happen again, and that's what I'm going to continue to do.
And Melquan said to me, obviously he feels that his route running, even from last year and then the spring, was good. But what have you seen from Melquan's route running?
Man, he's really just bought into it. You know, now having the understanding of coverages, what our defense is trying to do, that's what I bring to the table. You know, I don't just teach. You look at a route on paper and just teach it. No, players out there, there's a defense that moves. So having that understanding, giving them the blueprint, the coverages, and understanding what defenses are trying to do, it allows them, the game slows down a little bit, because now they know what areas to find in zone. They know how to beat man-to-man. I was excited as hell with one-on-ones because all the little nuggets that I was teaching them, you see it was on display. You know, was it perfect? No, but you start to see like he's bought into what I'm telling him. Right? You know, Quan had one, came flat, came back to the ball, caught a good contested catch, made a play. That's what it's all about. That's the smile I get. I get a smile because these kids are really picking up what I'm putting down as far as teaching them how to run routes, having a better understanding how to beat coverages, how to attack the technique. It's the fundamentals and technique is what's going to carry it. Because when you get tired and when things get rough, that's what you lean on. You know, a lot of these kids, you revert back to what you know, and I got to strip these guys down because, listen, I want them to understand the game and understand the technique and fundamentals of the why. If you better can teach these kids why they're doing it, then the game would be funner for them. Because if they don't know rhyme or reason why they're doing it, then they're just lost. But when now they have a better understanding of the game and coverages and techniques, and then it's easy for them to get open. And it was on display today. So good job on that.